We're discussing with you some recent happenings in the world and India as a whole. Recently, you might have heard of the news of reclining Buddha statue, the longest and largest. What is this Buddha? Normally, if we go to any Buddhist center, we'll be watching either a Buddha standing posture or sitting posture. But here in this event, the India's largest statue of Buddha at Buddha International Welfare Museum Temple in Bodh Gaya was supposed to be inaugurated, but it was postponed due to the pandemic. What is the Buddhist culture? Normally in the Buddhist culture, they doesn't worship the ideal worship, but this type of Buddha in a reclining position, we can see in other places also. If we go to Tirupati, you see Govindaraja Swami in a reclining position, and there will be a hand set on before his head, and he will be sleeping on that. And this is one. Another one is at Rameshwaram, where Lord Rama, after having the battle with Ravana, was in a reclining position. Another one is the famous Ananta Padmanabha temple at Trivandrum. That is also a very big statue, and you have to see in 3 gates. Number 1, the head. Number second one is in the middle, and the foot in the 3rd gate. So it is a lot Ananta Padmanabha Swami, a reclining position. Here in this, it represents Buddha during his last illness, about to enter into parinirvana. He was about to leave this world, and that is known as parinirvana. Parinirvana means it is a great salvation. So the reclining Buddha was first depicted in Gandhara art during 50 BC and 75 AD. It is as old as that. The reclining towards his right side, the head resting in a cushion or his right elbow. His right elbow, his head will be there. It is meant to show that all beings have potential to be awakened and released from the cycle of rebirth. Normally in Hindu philosophy, the recycling of birth, punarjanma we call it, is there in all the philosophies of Hindu philosophy. But Buddha was against this ideal worship, and in this parinirvana, he says, you will be having the salvation, that is moksha. The reclining postures are available in Thailand and Southeast Asia. The largest in the world is 600 feet. In 1992, it was erected at Mawalai Min, a small place. The Bhamala Buddha Parinirvana is in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, and it dates back to 2nd century AD. The oldest is this one in the world, that is in Pakistan, that is known as Bhamala Buddha Parinirvana. In the cave number 26 of Ajanta, there is a 24-foot long Buddha statue. It is a 5th century AD. At Mahabodhi temple, the Buddha sitting in Bhumisparsha Mudra. There are different mudras in yoga. So in this particular case, the Mahabodhi temple, the Buddha is in a sitting posture with Bhumisparsha Mudra touching towards the earth. In Saranath, the Dharmachakra Mudra is there, and walking Buddha you can find in Thailand. This is the history of the statue of the largest reclining position, and it will be inaugurated after the pandemic is over. Then coming to the recent appointment of CBI director, we have discussed the issue earlier also, but here we will discuss about the law position. The Chief Justice of India, Justice N.V. Ramana, he made a statement of law during the proceedings of the ACC. What is ACC? It is Appointments Committee of the Cabinet, that is known as ACC. all important positions, all directors general postings, appointments, all these are to be decided by this appointments committee. It consists of, in this case of CBI director, the Chief Justice of India, and the opposition leader in the Lok Sabha. In the case of Mr. Subodh Jaiswal, he is a 1985 batch IPS officer of Maharashtra cadre, and he was appointed during the month of May as a director of CBI for 2 years. And the rule is he cannot be transferred or he cannot be removed from service due to some reason or other. Justice N.B. Ramana, who appeared in that committee, who was also part of that committee, he opined to avoid officers with less than 6 months of service to be included in that panel. This is the statement of law. These words of the Chief Justice of India are known to be the statement of law. And what are the other judgments in Supreme Court regarding the appointments? On 13th March of 2013, that is 8 years back, Prakash Jain versus India, Government of India, there was a ruling that 6 months residual tenure people should not be taken into consideration. The individuals for appointment as DGPs, particularly when the Directors General of Police are being appointed by the states, the people who doesn't have even a 6 months of tenure who are going to retire shall not be considered. And then Union of India versus C. Dinakar in 2004, there is a judgment ruling that senior most 4 batch officers in service, irrespective of their empanelment, are eligible to be considered. Suppose you need not go by seniority, you take 4 batches into consideration and all of them can be considered, and in the empanelment, who is deserving personality, he will be selected. And in the case of Vineet Narayan, a judgment in 1998, the director should hold office for 2 years. The director of CBI, the ruling said, he should at least have 2 years of continued service. He cannot be transferred from CBI to that. There is a recent issue regarding the removal of the CBI director. It was struck down and then again he has been reinstated. The CBI director is appointed as per the section 4A of Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1964. It is as old as Delhi Police Establishment itself. But there was an amendment. In 2014, the act was amended to accommodate the leader of the single largest opposition party in the committee when the opposition leader is not available. For example, during this tenure of Modi II government, the Congress party did not get the required number for opposition leaders appointment. So in this, the amendment has been made that the leader of the single largest party also can attend this meeting as a member of the committee. The SEC, it appoints all important appointments, and the autonomy for CBI also is an important thing to be discussed, because Central Bureau of Investigation, most of the people allege that is Congress Bureau of Investigation or Government Bureau of Investigation. It doesn't bother about the rules and regulations. And if they want to book a person, they will book under CBI and the CBI investigation will go on. The officers are afraid. The politicians are also afraid. So the CBI has become a tool in the government's hands. So to avoid that, the CBI appointment committee has been included with the CJI and the opposition leader. Recently, you might have heard about Chosky. He is a fraudulent person, bank fraud. He is a fugitive Mehul Chosky who has fled from Antigua, was captured in Dominica after an Interpol yellow notice. We will discuss about this yellow notice and what is this yellow notice. He is in Antigua since 2018, taking his citizenship of that particular country. So they protected him for the last 3 years. He is wanted in 13,500 crore loan fraud in Punjab National Bank. He has taken the loan with so many irrelevant documents and forged documents, and he has to pay to the PNB, but he did not pay. So he is a wanted personality. What is this Interpol? Like a police of different states, like the colloquium of police at the center. This Interpol is International Criminal Police Organization. The headquarters is at Lyon, Lyon, at France, and it was established way back in 1923. That means about 100 years back, 200 years back. 2021, we are also 100 years back. It started calling as Interpol since 1953. And India joined this organization in 1949, and we are the oldest members of that Interpol. It is against the counter-terrorism and border integrity. That is the main thrust of the activities of the Interpol. Then you may ask me, sir, what is this yellow notice? There are different types of notices against the culprits. First notice is red notice for a wanted person. Suppose if a person is wanted, this red notice is issued to the Interpol. Similarly, the yellow notice in the case of Mr. Chosky, he is declared as a missing person because he was not available to a particular place. Then a blue notice. It is in regard to the additional information regarding to that particular person. And there is a black notice. It is a unidentified bodies. Suppose somebody dies and nobody is able to identify the body, then they will issue the Interpol with this black notice saying that this person is not being able to identify. Then the countries will come to a conclusion. And if they are able to locate this person, then they will identify that person. Then the green notice is there. It is the warning and intelligence of that particular person. Then orange notice is there. It is issued against the imminent threat. Suppose that person is a very dangerous person, and if he will be able to do something wrong to the entire country itself, then this imminent threat is issued in the name of the orange notice. Then there's a purple notice. It is a modus operandi to create or to catch hold of that person. And finally, the Interpol UN Security Council special notice. This is a special notice, and it is issued for the groups and individuals subject to United Nations Security Council sanctions. And Chosky, in the present instance, was issued with a yellow notice. He is not a traceable person, and even now also, he is not willing to be captured. Then we will come to the most popular MP lads. What is this MP lads? Members of Parliament has the local area committees, and in this local area, local area development scheme, they are given them an amount and they are supposed to spend that amount for that particular thing. We will discuss about this background. During the 2020 April, it was adjusted for the disaster management. Earlier in 1993, this MP lads, members of Parliament local area development scheme, was launched in 1993. For what purpose? To recommend works of development nature for the creation of durable community assets and for provision of basic facilities of the locally felt needs. Suppose if a school building is to be constructed or a common area is to be created, then the member of Parliament can recommend, and from his funds he can create that, and it is fully funded by Government of India. The entire amount is given by Government of India. The state governments will not come into picture. For MP constituency, 5 crore annual budget is allotted. Particular MP from Nellore, Ongole or Kakinada, he will be given an amount of 5 crores in a financial year, and it is to be spent during that year. Out of that amount, the 5 crores, 15% of the amount is to be spent on the scheduled caste areas, 7.5% for the scheduled tribes population, and it is a non-lapsable fund. Suppose the amount sanctioned for 2021 to 2021 was not spent due to several reasons. It is carried forward. It can be used during the next year. Suppose the MP has spent about 2 crores and the rest of the 3 crores plus 5 crores, 8 crores he can spend during 22-23. The MPs have recommendatory role. It is not compulsory that the district authority should carry forward the words of this gentleman. 10% of the works to be inspected by the district collector, district authority, whoever it is, he will go for the inspection. And if he finds that it is not according to the rules and it is irregular, he can cancel that program. The Lok Sabha MPs can recommend in their constituencies. They cannot go out of their constituency. The work should be done among the areas of the particular constituency itself. Suppose a person from Varanasi, that is our Prime Minister, he has to develop the constituency among the 5 crores of rupees per year he can spend on a particular capacity. The Rajya Sabha members can spend anywhere in the state. If an MP from Tamil Nadu is there, Rajya Sabha member, he can spend this 5 crores in a year during that year in the entire state itself. And the nominated members are there. There are 12 nominated members by the President of India on the recommendations of the Prime Minister of India. They can spend anywhere in the country. But you may ask me, sir, what is the amount spent during up to 2020 March? An amount of 1,750 crores, 1750 crores was spent on these MP lads during the periods of 1993 to 2020. So a huge amount has been spent. Then a very peculiar case in Karnataka happened recently. There is a place called Mekadatu. I have also visited that place recently. It is about 50, 100, 120 kilometers from Bangalore. Mekadatu, if you speak in Telugu, the goat jumps. The place where there's a small lane like between 2 river points and the goat jumps. That is why it is known as Mekadatu. There was an illegal construction proposal in Mekadatu. The suo motu, the National Green Tribunal, has appointed a joint committee to go through this proposal. What is this proposal? Karnataka government has proposed to construct a dam across this Kaveri river near this Mekedatu. Mekedatu is a Kannada word. In Telugu, we call it Mekadatu, jumping of the goat. The jurisdiction of National Greens Tribunal is, it protects environmental impact assessment, and Mekedatu, the goat live, situated at the confluence of the rivers Kaveri and tributary Akaravati. Akaravati is a tributary of the Kaveri. So it is a confluence of both these things. So a Mekadatu project has been proposed by Karnataka government to store and supply water for drinking purposes of Bangalore city. Bangalore city has grown up like anything due to the recent constructions everywhere. So there is a dearth of drinking water facility. Most of the people, they depend upon the water procured by tankers. So Bangalore city, the Bangalore Development Authority, they thought they should divert from here the water to the Bangalore city. Then around 400 megawatt power generation also can be done if a dam is constructed there. But Tamil Nadu objected, saying that it would not affect the flow of Tamil Nadu water. So Kaveri water is flowing downstairs, down length, so they will not be getting water if the dam is erected. So Tamil Nadu said, we will not accept it. This project is against the final order of the Kaveri Water Disputes Tribunal. There is a tribunal, Kaveri Water Tribunal, in which the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu governments are there giving arguments against their convenience. The Supreme Court has held that no state can claim exclusive ownership or asset rights of a particular river. For example, in this Kaveri River, either the state of the Karnataka state or Tamil Nadu, they should not proclaim that this is our property, because the river rises on Brahmagiri Hill or the Western Ghats in southwestern Karnataka, and it may create a problem to the people who are residing at the lower edge. But the Tamil Nadu government has constructed a Mettur dam on this Kaveri River long back. So this was a point of argument. Both of them allege itself. So in this, in a nutshell, we can call this Mekedatu dam, which is proposed to be done by Karnataka government, is against the normal procedure of river tribunals. So friends, in this way, we should come across all the major events of that particular month, and we will be discussing about several issues which will be of use to you in the prelims as well as the mains, and sometimes in the interview also, if you belong to Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, a question may arise, what is Mekedatu? You should be able to tell Mekedatu is a place where the confluence of the river Kaveri and Akravati are there, and it is a big tourist place, and it is nearer to Karnataka, Bangalore, and the proposal of providing drinking water from that particular place with the building of a dam and generation of power, these things ought to be in your mind. So thank you very much.